Okay, in this video, we're going to break down the deadlift, which is our hinge pattern. It is the most important pattern when it comes to kettlebells. If you don't understand how to hinge, you're not going to be able to do the swing, the snatch, clean, deadlift. Like, you're going to struggle immensely. So please pay close attention. Spend a lot of time getting really fucking good at this movement. It seems like it should really be easy. You're picking something up off the ground. However, there's a lot of problems that people run into with the deadlift. One is they think of it as lift with your legs. No, you do not want to lift with your legs, right? Your legs do a lot of the work. It's all glutes and hamstrings that are doing the work. However, what it looks like is you're lifting with your back. In reality, you're driving through the glutes and the hamstrings by creating a lot of tension in them and keeping your back flat and stable, right? This is the key part. You're using your body as it was intended. See, all the muscles in your back, your spinal erectors, they're designed to work statically where they don't let your spine move. They hold everything rigid and in place. You got like two steel girders running up and down your back. Now, when they work properly, your back stays flat. And you can use that to pick up a shit ton of weight with the deadlift, where you're driving with the glutes and the hamstrings by sitting yourself out of the way and keeping your back flat, and then using the hips to drive everything through. That's the concept of the deadlift. With that same hinge movement and pattern, that translates over to the hip drive for our swing, for our clean, for our snatch, glute bridge, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice just getting into that hinge. The way that we do that is take your hands like so, and you're going to make knife hands. And you're going to poke yourself right in the hips. And when you poke yourself in the hips, you're just going to push your hips back. Now you'll notice I'm keeping my back flat. My knees aren't bending, they're unlocking so that my legs aren't staying rigidly straight as I try to go back, but my shins stay vertical. So my knees unlock and allow me to sit back, right, with a flat back. My hips move back, my shins are vertical, my back is flat, and then I can stand back up. We're hinging and coming back up. Hinging, hands behind us, coming back up. Hinging, coming back up. This is super important because this is where we are using what my good friend Cyber Steve refers to as the fuck muscles, your glutes and your hamstrings that drive that hip extension, right? And so as we go through that, get a lot of reps practicing that sitting back and forward. Now you'll notice my stance is really directly right underneath my shoulders, not quite straight up and down, just a little bit out, just enough to be comfortable, but my feet are still pointed straight ahead, almost like I'm on skis right here. And this lets me sit back and forward and really recruit my posterior chain. Now, when we get set up for our deadlift, it's pretty simple. You're going to stand over your kettlebell. And the way that you're going to stand over your kettlebell is so that the handle is even with your ankles, right? As long as the bell is even with your ankles, that allows you to keep your center of gravity right over the middle of your foot. The middle of your foot is the easiest place to be athletic, not on our heels, not up on our tippy toes, but nice and balanced across the whole foot. For simplicity purposes, by putting that bell right even with your ankles, it forces you to have to reach backwards a little bit to get your hips out of the way, reinforcing our hinge pattern. And as your torso comes forward, it allows a little bit of counterbalance so that you stay nice and balanced. And the way that that's going to look is when I get set up here, that bell handle is hidden by my legs. I'm not setting up where you can see the bell in front of me. I'm hiding that bell handle with my calves. And now I take my knife hands, I'm sitting, chopping back. Now my setup here, I'm grabbing onto that bell, and now initially I might be a little bit rounded, nice and relaxed, but before I ever pick that bell up, I need to be in a flat back. So the easiest way to do that is to start with a flat back as we sit back, grabbing that bell, and now I'm going to pack my lats. And when I do that, I'm taking my arms and I'm pulling my shoulders down. What that does is that tightens up our upper back to make a nice, proud chest, similar to like Superman, right? Pulling everything back. So we're packing those lats nice and tight. We're sitting back, feeling that stretch in the glutes and the hamstrings. We're going to take a big breath in, fill up that belly with air, not just into our chest, but into our stomach, driving all that air into our belly button. What that does is that tightens up our core and reinforces that posterior chain, strengthening and holding everything rigid, because a strong core protects your low back, right? Now, as we go, we're going to knife hand down, hands on the bell, pack our lats, big breath in, and we stand up. Now at the top, we make a nice exhale, braces the abs. My legs are locked, my glutes are flexed. I'm not slouching here. I'm nice and tall. I want a straight line, head to heel, strong as steel. Straight line from my heel all the way up through my head. And now to sit back down, I'm just gonna reach that bell back towards my heels, setting it down even with my ankles, getting my hips out of the way. Big breath in to stay tight, and back up, and sitting back. Like so. Now you'll notice I'm staying nice and balanced. I'm grabbing the floor with my feet, sitting my hips back. I'm getting a nice easy cadence with my breathing. And the entire time, right, I'm staying head to heel, strong as steel. That breath in keeps my core compressed, and I breathe in on the way down, because as we're sitting down into that more vulnerable position, we want to make sure that we're nice and tight. Right? We want to keep our back flat. We want that tension in the core to protect our low back. We don't want to be breathing out and relaxing, being strong in that position, holding all that tension, holding all that strength there. Then as we stand up and we drive through with our glutes, that is where the power is going to come from. So we want to pattern a lot of our deadlifts, especially when you go through a program. If there's a lot of swings in there, maybe do a set of deadlifts before you start each day, but go through a couple weeks if you are unfamiliar, you haven't done a lot of swings or deadlifts, and make sure that you have this pattern down, right? Take that video yourself, compare it to this hinge pattern that you're seeing in this video, and make sure that you have everything dialed in so that your back is flat, you're sitting back into your posterior chain, your glutes and hamstrings, right? Stretching all the way back, shins are vertical. When you stand up, get that exhale, quads flexed, glutes flexed, abs tight, shoulders packed, head to heel, strong as steel. Remember the cues, and then start going through. And when it comes to application, deadlifts, you don't really need to be doing more than 5 reps. You could get up to like sets of 10 if you really want to, but at that point, you're strong enough that you should probably just start doing swings. And that's really what the swing is the swing is going to be a ballistic deadlift. We'll go over that more in our swing teaching videos, but for now, you know what your deadlift is supposed to look like and how you can start to master it.